once more see all of you again in more chamber atmosphere. We will continue in English, so I hope that you are happy that your travel to Prague paid off. Because as you noticed, there was another ceremony downstairs, so we need minutes to fix it. The purpose of today's seminar is to get closer to projects you did, and maybe we would like not to focus so much on the content, but more on the process. You know, how did you come to your results? What was it? What were your ideas behind, and how did you communicate with municipalities or with other experts in that field, that we share the experience how different universities work in the learning process. Yeah, so that and I think we devoted 10 minutes for each presentation, but I don't know what was exactly the instruction.
7 minutes.
7 minutes, yeah. 7 minutes, very yes. Condensed presentation, and there will be questions you can ask among yourself, and or you will get questions. So at the very beginning, I would like to ask jury chairman, Mrs. Eva Němcová, who is with us on internet, if she would be able to somehow summarize her experiences, because what we do, we always change the jury members. You know that usually the jury member takes part only once in this process, so that we have all the time newcomers. So I would be also curious, what was your experience, Mrs. Němcová? Do we have her?
Yeah.
Yeah, but.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Great,
hello.
Great.
Now it's working. Do you hear me well?
Okay. Yes, thank you. Yes, we hear you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, first of all, congratulations to all of you to this great work and very, very interesting proposals. I must say it, for the jury, it was definitely very, very hard work to really decide about the winning proposals, because it was, I mean, we had over 60 entries, almost 70 entries, so and many of them had very, very good quality. We saw across most of the work very, very good and extensive analysis, and we saw that the concepts were well developed and strategies, like spatial strategies. So we had sometimes really interesting discussions to different approaches. And I thought maybe I point out some topics that we were discussing the most. I mean, we saw there were several proposals kind of dealing with brownfields, and we saw that, I mean, it's a very contemporary, urgent topic to be involved with, to deal with. And then we saw how we were discussing basically how to find the balance between basically the new use, finding the new use, and kind of at the same time keeping the kind of identity of the space. And so it was very different in the works to like see the different approaches, how to combine this, and how to find the proper balance. So that was interesting discussion. There was also quite interesting discussion about the need of densification of urban spaces, especially low density urban areas, where it makes sense. What is the proper urban form, the architectural form, and actually also the kind of urgency to develop strategies for that. And on the other hand, we also had we saw the need sometimes the architect or the urban designer to say basically not to build, and to basically be able to say there are places in the city that are very valuable for different reasons. For example, for like they were maybe a little bit forgotten, or they were created as a byproduct of different uses, and they just became very valuable for its biodiversity, for its identity. And that is just also very important to be able to see that value and say, well, I can't build here. But we also saw that it's something that one has to deal with, not as a kind of individual style, but it's also important to see it in the context of the whole urban landscape. So that was kind of a different approach. It's not easy for an architect to say not to build. And what we valued a lot were proposals that were very like kind of trying to knit the city together. We saw that were some sides were very, very difficult from like they were quite fragmented. And so the ability of you and kind of try to find the connections and basically creating kind of a meaningful open space. We thought it was a very good approach, a very important approach in our cities that are often very fragmented. So I just maybe leave that at this. These were quite important topics that we were discussing in the jury, and we had nice discussions around them. And it just showed that the proposals were so good and rich in ideas that it gave us really nice base for discussion. So I enjoyed it very much, and I think all of the jury members did. So thank you very much for this great work.
Thank you, and thank you all for your comments. As I said, we will start with a very short presentation of each project. There was a request of the team of Mrs. Boska, Hlaváček, and Melek to present at the very first row because they have some duties in studio. So let's start with you. And you have not take a benefit of the refreshment we prepared for you. So please help yourself to take at least something to drink. Feel free to take refreshment. Yeah. So, if we may ask you for a very short presentation, you need to be here to control that.
So I shall go there.
Yes.
So can we start or?
Yes, you can start.
Okay. Hello, thank you very much for the award. We really appreciate it. I am Timothy Hlaváček, and I'm here with Maria Dvorska and Marian Malek, my colleagues in this project. So we start with the city of Náchod. It's on the borders of Czech Republic and Poland, right in the middle between Wrocław and Prague. And it's old industry city with a rich history of textile industry, still with a lot of remains of textile buildings, great big textile buildings. And but it's lost its character. The buildings are empty and all the industry is gone. So today is only just the getaway to the Poland for trucks with this main road in the middle of city from the east to the west. So it's full of trucks just. So we are looking for some new character for the city, some new feel for the city, some new approach and goal. So the city has some future. And our group chose this part of the city. It's on the east part of the city with the train station and the panel houses real estate. As you can see, it's just next to the old city of Náchod, and it's pretty much low density in the built-up area, but of course the panel houses are with high density. So our approach was to choose the city shouldn't go further to the hills where there's nowadays a lot of new buildings, family houses built, and just be in the valley underneath the hills. So it is these contour lines, 350 meters above the sea, and choose to densify this part of the city on the flat area of the city. We divide the city into their own districts with their own characters. So on the north, there are the panel houses estate. On the south, there are Tepna, this old industry textile fabric. There is already some project on it, so we just copy and paste the project which win the competition. And then the industry area and all the brownfield around the train station, and on the south, river banks around the river. Yeah. So the main, one of the main subjects of our proposal was the somehow behave towards the train station and to the train tracks. There should be in the future this higher speed railway, so it will be quickly connected to Wrocław and Prague. So it's some potential for the brownfield and for the whole city. Also, our colleagues in the studio was working on these viaducts under the railways. We choose the local. We find the local centers and add some more. So it's a short distance city. Because it's flat area, we think the big potential is in the bicycle transport. So we make new bicycle trails, create new public transport, and because of a new city ring, which should it's planned, it will be built, and it should put away the trucks from the city. So we create a new hierarchy for the roads in the city. And most important is this new welcoming of the nature into the city, creating new bio corridors into the city, just so you can walk whole city or the part of the city just in the nature, in the city, something between. So everything is close to the nature and create new pleasant public spaces. So this is our proposal. We will start with the north part of the panel house estate, where we add these low-rise buildings to be able to finance and make control around the public space, because nowadays it's just the vast majority of the grass area, and it's like not used, it's just land grass, and in the future the grass is there is question if grass is something that is suitable for the future. So we open the river, which is now in the pipes underneath the ground, and create a new sporting area and park around the panel houses. Yeah, so there's new biodiversity between the panel houses and create new low-rise buildings which take control around them.
So as we saw that there is 4 parts of district. This is the second one, like industrial.
Louder.
It's industrial part, and it's nearby the train station, and there is a heating plant, and we want to build new public space, or keep the industrial heritage here, but make active public space with it. And the heating plant is now active, and so we mostly focus on public space. And for this, we want to focus on more opportunity to make to choose a different type of housing, and mixing functions, and it's mostly for it have industrial vibe with the craft, and on the basement there are working place for workers, and upstairs are okay. So next part is for the brownfield part. For the train station, and we want to show connectivity and access for the center to make access to the new business train station part. And
so we are sorry, we have to come to some conclusions. If you have any conclusions or some questions, eventually. If there is something you would like to stress,
yes,
it's okay.
So really quick, I can finish it. The last part was the housing estate along the river with the riverbank and public spaces here. So we work mostly with buildings and the gaps between it, and mostly with public spaces around these panel houses. Important for us was also connect all these parts with the bridges for pedestrians, also above the river, with the brewery on the other side, and thanks all the new buildings and new houses. There should be new schools like the kindergarten and primary school. And also, it was very important for us to work with the connection with other parts of the city, which we didn't work on, like the spa and the western part of the city. So I think it's all.
Thank you for now. Thank you. So, any questions or comments, if you have? I might have one question regarding the cooperation with the municipality. Did you communicate your projects with local expert or politicians, or did it work?
Yeah, we had some feedback from the vice mayor, and he gave feedback for Wall Studio, and he said that this is the good proposal and it's realistic, but there is still some utopic ideas that he didn't seems to believe. So that's okay. But they saw that.
I'd like to ask you, you probably expect increasing population in Náchod because you are building new houses. Was also some basic facilities included in your proposal? I mean, kindergartens, basic schools.
Yeah.
Things like that.
In every district, we identify, we find a place for the kindergarten, schools, offices, works, shops, and everything, culture stuff, and we're calculating if it will take the newcomers and if it's possible to accommodate all the new citizens of Náchod.
First of all, congratulations to your project. I'm more interested, and we would like to discuss teaching process and from your point of view, learning process. So I would like to ask you, how did you delimit the area of solution? Was there some analysis before, or was it from the same start given by the teacher or by you? How was development? How did you identify the area that you want to solve?
Yeah, we have 3 weeks, I think, where we just analyze the Náchod, whole city, and choose transport, mobility, the housing, and everything like that. We are analyzing, creating new maps, find the sources, and then after this part of the analyzed part, we start to creating this approach or this proposal. So there was basic source searching for all the information about the Náchod, and we have something from the
city also. So it was, yeah, we have some basic sources from them.
Thank you. Any other questions? No, if not, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And now we'd like to ask Maya and Mateusz to show us the winning project.
It's in preview. Yeah.
We have also attendees on internet. So if we don't want to skip you from the conversation. So if you have any question or comments, be loud that we will hear you. Yeah, thank you. So go ahead.
Welcome everyone once again. Thank you for having us here, and we are truly honored to be here and also for the award. And yes, we are going to present you briefly revitalization of Podgórze district in Wałbrzych.
Yes, so now we say a few words for those who don't know where the Wałbrzych is. So it's located in Lower Silesia in Poland, and the city is famous for its rich industrial history. And the city landscape is dominated by factory complexes with tall chimneys, which remind us about Wałbrzych old industrial spirit. And however, this city also had struggled with some problems, and economy significantly declined as a result of the commissioning of mines. And this caused high unemployment in the district. And now the city is under a huge depopulation process. There are also being made some attempts to bring back life to the city by revitalization process and interventions, and also by boosting its tourism potential. And as you can see on this picture, there is an old mine which was transformed to this cultural zone with museum, restaurant, and library. Yes, and our interventions were carried out in Podgórze district, which is located in the southern part of the Wałbrzych. And after collapse of the mining industry, this district visibly declined, and today is one of the most neglected districts in the city.
And as Mateusz mentioned, Wałbrzych has a rich industry heritage, which still waits for redevelopment and some other interventions. And some of the objects are located in Podgórze district. First example is Mieszko coal mine, which currently is completely non-existent. The only remaining piece is this tower that recalls the former mine. Another example is a former tile factory, which is completely ruined, and unfortunately it is waiting for demolition due to the poor condition, technical condition.
Yes, next example, which was very interesting for us, it was this old evangelical church, which nowadays is in very bad technical condition. But as we can see on this picture, it really stands out in the panorama of the Wałbrzych, and it is very important orientation point for the citizens. And another, the last example, is the spatial accent of this district, and it's old steel viaduct, which is the gate to the city, and also serves as this ending point of the axis of Main Street. Yes, and now we are moving to the revitalization process that is currently going on in the city. So we had this possibility to visit Wałbrzych, and we would like to mention a few examples that caught our attention. So first example is this revitalization of the street, of the fragment of the street. And as we can see, the intervention obviously improved the condition of the road and pavement.
but in our opinion, it doesn't answer the real problem, which is air traffic, air pollution, and noise pollution. Another example is organizing these unused green areas, and here they try to organize this integration zone by creating these playgrounds and pedestrian zones.
And although the previous example is relatively positive, this one here is a creation of Pocket Park, which the idea of Pocket Park is great, but in this particular example, we think that it wasn't carried out so well because the space was already functioning well before, and now it became this fenced space without greenery or with small greenery without people. Is very inhospitable. So in our project, we wanted to avoid such situations. We observed that the city needs to become pedestrian friendly with various functional greenery spaces and spaces for people to actually spend time there. We observed that the former glory of the city should be brought back. And in order to achieve it, we came up with those main aims. First of all, restoration of the river trace and revitalization of greenery, development of public transport system and bike paths, but also formation of well-defined zones that would improve the structure of the district and make it more coherent.
Yes, and that is why we established these 4 stages of revitalization. And the first stage focused more on the restoring the river trace that is currently hidden under the street. And our main objective was to reintroduce river to its natural state and provide this valuable green area for the inhabitants. But also, we proposed transformation of existing pocket parks and organized green areas to water squares and swamps to increase biodiversity. And the second stage of the project aimed to improve the quality of existing commercial zone. We focus on providing this functional space for various activities such as shopping, dining, and entertainment. And our goal was to create a representative square that attracts not only local community, but also tourists. And now, as we can see, the street is ruled by cars and most of services are connected to the motorization. So to make it more pedestrian friendly and safe, we allocated more space for recreational areas, restaurant gardens, and city square.
So we already have functional greenery, diverse greenery. We have a commercial zone, which serves as an engine of economic activities and the heart of the district. So we need a soul of a district. And we thought that the soul could be a cultural zone. And we chose a zone close to the old evangelical church, which we believe might be transformed into a cultural hub for people's integration, inhabitants' integration, and also raising their knowledge about cultural identity of Wałbrzych. And that would also make people stay in the city. And if we achieve this objective of keeping people in a city, we would need probably more job opportunities for them, but also housing estates. So that brings me to the final stage, which is industrial zone revitalization. And in this particular area, we are transforming it into multi-functional mixed-use development with green, with community gardens and spaces to integrate. And in conclusion, what I can say about this project is that we know that it's very ambitious and require great funds, but with a collaboration between various parties such as local government, obviously, and activists, but also through participation processes, it can actually be improved. The change might be done. And our goal was to make this catalog of universal solutions that might be implemented not only in Podgórze district, but also in different districts or towns in Poland or in Europe with similar potential and solutions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any questions? Maybe I can start with one. You worked a lot of with greenery, public spaces. Did you consult it with some experts, or how did it work?
Yes, so there were already prepared analysis from the City Council of Wałbrzych. So based on the information that we read there and we saw there, we tried to improve their solutions and propose our strategies. And they really focused on greenery in the city and about these unused green areas, which are nowadays unused and are in city center and they have huge potential to create something there.
Yes, and also I feel that Wałbrzych is located in this hilly surrounding, so it was important to emphasize the surrounding as well. And also in Podgórze district, there are a lot of green spaces that I think is one of the most green districts in Wałbrzych. So it was crucial to bring it, to emphasize it and to give this space for local inhabitants.
Yes, and a few centuries ago, this city was the region where people went to rest. So it was like this kind of...
Yeah, there was this wellness center.
Yes, so we thought that it could be a really good solution for this city to create very friendly zones, very green zones for the habitants and also tourists.
Yeah, coming back to the question, we also, except from having this analysis, we had we analyzed various projects from Western or Eastern part of Europe when similar solutions were implemented to similar.
Yeah, and also the projects from Korea, from Seoul, where they have also had very big problem with car traffic, and they decided to organize their green areas and to change habits of the habitants, to create their very pedestrian zone and to encourage people to live on the streets.
So there is a question from the audience on the internet. Jiří?
So hello, congratulations on your well-deserved award. I really like your project. It's very comprehensive, complex, which usually is a sign that thank you. Which usually is a sign that you've done a really good job at analyzing the site. So I'm just wondering, like, how much time have you spent on the analytical part of your seminar work? If you can say it's like 10%, maybe 1/3 of the semester or something like that. I would be curious. Thank you.
Yes, so we are doing this till the end, I think. And the most difficult and also time-consuming process was of preparing this model, because after our site visit, we decided to prepare a model where we put all of our ideas and strategies. And I think that this consumed like 40 or 50% of our time.
Most of the semester. The project was made during one semester, and the analytical part, I think that was one of the most important one. Until the end, when we established those strategies, it was all about analysis of the district.
Yeah, it really shows. You did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. There is another question.
Yes, I really appreciate that this project has very realistic settings and goals. And I would like to know how was this work in design studio, how it was interconnected with theoretical courses. Were there some consultations or interaction with the teachers in theoretical courses? Because I think that there is a lot of interesting proposals which need some specific theoretical knowledge. So how it was interconnected?
The course was, it was actually a combination of theory and project, but I think that we spent a lot of time in research, in like getting inspiration from, as I mentioned, from various projects that we thought that are kind of similar to our case. Also, I remember that we were on that exhibition in Architecture Museum in Wrocław, which was actually about river restoration and like bringing back nature to cities, and we were truly inspired by that because they studied their various projects with river restoration, with boosting the biodiversity. So I guess it was just all about the research that we did.
Your own research. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see any other question. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations once more. And I'd like to ask, I'd like to ask our colleagues Flora and Hanga from Budapest.
They're online.
Placed third.
Hello, I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah.
1 minute. Can you see it now?
Yes, thank you.
Nice. Okay. So hello everybody, and thank you for the opportunity to being here and for the prize we were awarded. And we are going to introduce our urban design called Rivulis Houses. So in the last decade, the southern part of Budapest industrial zone, especially the Buda side, was the main target area for real estate investments. And the unused brownfield areas that can be converted more easily have been transformed into extremely densely built up residential and office areas. And in our 1 semester long design project, our task was to create an urban development for the area located in the southeastern part of the 11th district between Szerémi Street and the Danube Bank. In the part of the area that is closer to the Danube and therefore more valuable, the everyday tension can be felt between the use of high prestige residential complexes and office buildings and industrial service areas that are stuck in a degraded state. And during the semester, we had to apply sustainable planning strategies that promote the transformation of the remaining brownfield blocks into urban and mixed areas.
At the beginning of our designing project, we conducted research and observation around our chosen site, which was previously a factory site where pre-made concrete structures were made. So our research can be summarized in 3 main points. Firstly, this area offers excellent public transport opportunities, and there's a development for increasing bicycle traffic volume. Secondly, there's a huge demand for public transport, for more accessible Danube Bank, because now it's currently very blocked from the residents who really want to have a space where they can recreate and escape from the noisy city. And lastly, as this part of Budapest called Budafok is a priority development area, according to the Budapest Urban Development Strategy, high-rise apartment blocks and office buildings are being constructed. As the very neighboring plot, there's a huge investment, and it started its construction in 2018. We believe why these projects are really large in scale, they tend to lack in more human-centered and smaller scale elements. So we felt the need to design something more human-scaled and welcoming to enhance the diversity of Budafok and create a gentle connection to the Danube Bank. We consider low-rise, high-density estates to be built structures that represents our aim of creating something more human-scaled. Following research, we selected terraced houses as our starting point and analyzed the traditional sequence of areas inside one unit of terraced houses. So here we present 2 of our main references. The first is a very typical terraced house system, and the second is a design where townhouses and terraced houses and its concept are blended together and it's expanded upon.
So we also dreamed of such a terrace house structure, but only the layer structure in the classical sense was designed by us as a layer structure stretched out into dimensions. Moreover, the strip system is expanded with green areas shared by the residents of the districts, a pedestrian walkway and a water surface. And due to the more appropriate layout, these lanes are not strictly connected to the house, but rather form layers for the entire system, as you can see here. And the lot is bordered by relatively busy roads from the east, west, and from the north. And we wanted to delimit the inner residential areas from these. But in addition, we also had to find a solution that would allow the residents and to all people passing by to easily use the Danube Bank and reach services in the neighborhood as well.
So apart from residentials, there are non-residential buildings in our project to create a system that is good for a 20 or 15-minute city. Alongside office buildings, shops, services, community buildings, and buildings with real co-housing functions are placed there. People can use it for gyms or workshop places, for common kitchens, and for other really co-housing functions to create a community in this area. So these buildings can be used by the residents of the estate. The complex really operates like a horizontally laid out high-rise multi-story apartment block. These layered structures provide private gardens for each building, containing 2 or 3 apartments along with optional roof access. Our design aims to create a neighborhood with diverse spatial experiences, offering both smaller and larger outdoor public spaces instead of adhering strictly to rows of terrace houses. So, by introducing spontaneous shifts in the arrangement of houses, we wanted to fulfill this goal to create very interesting spaces and really a sequence of public squares. Next to the Danube Bank, we were really next to the Danube Bank, we were aiming to create atmosphere that is very close to water nature. So we designed a little small water path. Okay, thanks. Twisting around the houses. So on to the next slide.
Yes, so as depicted in this section drawing, the water area is also integrated in our layer strip system. And the space for cars is eliminated from the green public areas. So the gardens, covered walking paths, squares, and public green and water areas can be easily connected together. And thus children could play freely outside and residents can enjoy a careless free time with reduced motor noise because of this. And as mentioned, we felt the need to design a more human-scaled welcoming district. This, in addition to the important urban components, offers extra community opportunities and spaces, and thereby it is contributing to the comfortable everyday life of the residents here.
So I think we are out of time. So I just summarize in 2 really short sentences that the gist of this project is that is a solution with a density corresponding to sustainable urban planning in the capital of Hungary, but on a much more human scale, so people can find a home there where they can feel an urban atmosphere that is situated between the density and the suburbans. So we really wanted to create a very family-friendly district without forcing residents to move to the agglomeration of this or the suburbs. And thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
you.
So, are there any questions from the audience here?
Maybe students will have some questions.
Jiří. Yeah. Jiří. The floor is
thank you.
yours.
Again, very, very interesting project, very, I would say, experimental one, which is definitely always appreciated, especially in the students' competition like this. I was just curious, I know it's an urban design project, so you don't spend too much time on the individual architecture of the houses, but judging from the visualizations, it seems like the proposal was to create sort of like a uniform architecture feeling throughout the whole space, or that was just because it's urban design, so you don't spend time on the individual facades. So I guess I'm wondering, like, if it's just the one style of building going through the whole project, or if it would be actual realization, it would be different by every unit or so. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. There are not so many unique parts in this building, so we try to create a unanimous atmosphere by using the same elements of houses like windows and apartment systems. We also created kind of a typology of houses that we didn't put it in our presentation, but yeah, we really focused on unique public spaces instead of unique houses, because these kind of connected spaces and sequence of spaces was more important in our design. And there was a debate on it with our tutor to, I don't know, we should create something more special and unique for different parts of the estate. But our goal was to communicate that it is one estate, that is a low-rise, high-density estate, and it has to have some unanimous atmosphere.
Yeah, and sorry, so we played a little bit with the sizes of the buildings and with the sizes of the apartments there. So yeah, that was a little bit for the answer for the uniqueness.
Thank you. It's a really good answer, because I thought it was like a little bit of a downside of the project, the uniformity. But I do have to admit that your answer about like creating the variation throughout the layers of the public space, that's quite compelling. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
If I may ask a question about the density, have you do you have an idea about how many people will be accommodated in your project?
Hanga, do you remember, or I should look up because I've...
Yes, please. So I don't remember. Well, we had many calculations of this, so it was one part of our project, just we didn't represent it here.
I just looked up, so we designed...
But maybe not the number, but maybe if you compare it with other type of city structures, what was your target?
Yeah. So we designed 400 flats in this whole estate, and the neighboring plot that I was showing you was the first part of the project, and in the whole project would be around 800 or 1,000 flats. So it's kind of, it can be related to it. And I think I can look up for just very quickly for another number that we calculated. And it was the floor area ratio, which was for the most dense part, it was 0.85.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So that was our goal, to create this floor area ratio around 1. And that was that was actually the task in the semester. So that was our main goal.
Thank you. There is one more question, yeah?
Okay, I would like to ask, because I could see that from the same start of your project, you had that block delimited for your design. Was there also some consideration of the broader relations, how this your proposal will be linked to the surrounding area? Because, or was there some more general strategy or scheme, development scheme of the area in which you fit it with your proposal? If you understand my question.
I think I understand, and I try to give you an answer for it. So it's not seen in this slide, but we created small gaps in the surrounding office buildings for other residents from other estates and parts of this area, so they can go into this estate and they can reach the main square as well. And to locate it in the whole district, there are other low-rise, high-density estates just around 15 minutes from there. Yeah, but I think our goal was really to create something else. To be honest, I have to tell that we were a bit naive, and we had a vision to create something more human-centered and human-scaled. So for us, it was a bit like a love project to create something new, something that we enjoy, and not another part of a city with really high-rise buildings that are really common nowadays in Budapest.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Stay with us, and we continue with another third prize project from Lukáš and Jan from Czech Technical University in Prague. Yeah, there is.
Oh, yeah. Stop the sharing.
Hello. A year ago, I was working on a project for Croatia with Lukáš Cigler. Unfortunately, Lukáš is here today, but he greetings
louder because of the microphone.
Unfortunately, Lukáš is not here today, but he greetings you from Italy, and he also created this presentation. The whole topic is to create a modern, sustainable recreational resort concept for 21st century, and it was provided by Inspirelli competition, where we took first place in the urban planning. This is the view of whole area we created from the sea. The Melis Garden project is located in the southern part in Europe, in the Balkan state of Croatia, which is here. And Croatia is also famous for its beautiful beaches and tourist destinations such as Dubrovnik, Split, Hvar, and Šibenik. The cities are full of historical sites such as ancient temples, churches, and walls. The area in question is located in the Adriatic coast, about 30 kilometers from the Zadar city, in the smaller town of Starigrad. The history of the town dates back to the antique times. In addition to historical monuments such as remains of the city walls and city gates, Starigrad also offers beautiful beaches and tourist attraction. And Starigrad is the capital of Paklenica Riviera, named after the adjacent national park. The Riviera stands out for the incredible blend of the landscapes and high mountains, with an incredible atmosphere here. This is the situation. Oh, sorry. The whole area we designed. It's the coastline is about 650 long, and the elevation here is about 52 meters high. Yes. Here are some drone shots from the area. We had the opportunity to visit and take it itself. And the aim of the design was to create a modern and sustainable recreational resort concept. It was essential for us to create a project unique to this place, to Croatia. We were inspired by a unique atmosphere of typical Croatian village and tried to transfer it into our design. And we created a diverse place where users will love to spend their time regardless of the season, age of life situation. We want to create a condensed center in the natural show and also to create a main access to the sea surface. The radical adaptation of this place also allow us to use and make accessible and otherwise increasable space. We also wanted to create important places in the resort and connect them with pedestrian promenade. Yes. Here we see the whole resort at its mass, where the stop in the middle is condensed. In the center, uniquely varied space are created full of small squares and romantic nooks. The pedestrian road waves between the houses and is completed by a serious shortcut and staircase, created a varied and distinctive space. The pedestrian road leads from the sea to the highest dominant point on the relief, on which, according to the tradition in Croatia, is a chapel. This is the situation plan with access axis and composition of individual houses, hotels, sports center, etc. This is some visualization from the ground. Visualization from promenade by the marina. And visualization of beach. And the visualization of the main square under the chapel. There is use of the resort. You can look. You can see all types of buildings. Oh. No, it's here. And we have shown the use of the whole resort is about 70% of accommodation and 30% of equipment. And we further break down so that whole area is more multifunctional, that we well usable in different seasons for different people, different day of use time, etc. There is only a transport scheme in the area. We could count with central parking garages, and this is some waste management. And thank you for attention and opportunity to be here.
Thank you. So again, I open the floor for the questions.
I would like to ask you about your experience with the working on the locality which is far away geographically. So how many times you have to visit the locality, and if you communicated with some actors or with the population who are living there, or how you analyze the area and how you collect the information on the area?
Most information is from internet. We also communicated with one people from Inspirali competition, which is the Croatian inhabitant, and we have opportunity to visit this place and have been here 2 days.
So my understanding is that Inspirali is a private company, which invited the competition, or what was the idea behind at the very beginning?
It's a student competition, but he cooperate with clients or investors from business sectors, and he created this.
So was it based? My question is: was it based on a real
yes,
demand of the market, or was it just let's say theoretical competition?
It's a real task, but if we win the urban planning category, but our plan don't nesplníme ty. Nesplníme prostě územní plán.
The new plan didn't meet the land use plan.
Což to bylo jakoby nereálný v tom případě, ale
okay.
Oni si navrhli, oni měli že vlastně.
You can continue in English.
I just have a short question according to what you asked. Actually, was it mostly for tourists or also local inhabitants, the whole idea?
Was for tourists, but we in our design wanted to locals to have their small shops and small apartments and lived with tourists.
Okay. Thank you. No more questions. Thank you very much.
Cool. Yeah. Did you think about some strategies in case if the city would like to develop and be bigger and bigger? If people would be interested, maybe
because it's nice, people will like it, no? And that's what happened there.
Beautiful surrounding.
So it's like a closed project and
closed.
There's a question
from Jiří Kugl.
Jiří.
Okay, thank you. So absolutely fascinating project, and I definitely remember having quite a big discussion amongst the jurors, and utterly charming. I love it. If it's gonna get made, like, let me know. I'm gonna book my holiday there. I really enjoyed it. But there was one thing we talked about with other jurors, and that was the question that it is right on the edge of becoming almost like a replica city, like a slightly, sometimes it has a danger of being like a kitschy copy of the other older cities. I don't think it quite gets there, but I'm just wondering like if this was something you were aware of and you were like mindfully working against, if there was any pushback maybe from your tutor, or like what was the process there?
I don't, yeah. Jak na to odpověď, tak. Jako, I beware of copying old village, so we tried to develop our small plans of planting the houses, and it's
okay. No. One more question.
Thank you. I think you did succeed in the end, so yeah, well done. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. And I'd like to ask you guys to present your project.
So, hi everyone, my name is Gergely.
And I'm Balint.
And we came from Budapest, from the Budapest University of Technology, which is located in the city center of Budapest. And our design studio took place in Pesterzsébet, which is the 20th district of Budapest, which is like more of a suburban area. If we take a closer look at Pesterzsébet, on this diagram, we can see two colors. Blue represents low density areas and red represents higher ones. And these blue areas clearly dominate the whole district, which are mostly made of small houses on big plots. And most of the people that live there commute to the city center by car. And we had a sort of imaginary situation where they built a fast and reliable tram connection to the city center, and our main task was to design or develop the appropriate reaction of the district to this new situation.
Yeah. First, we took a deep analysis of the district's transportation, and we came to the realization that it is mostly dominated by car users. So we wanted to support other alternatives, such as so the new tram line will be built, and we implemented horizontal bus lanes and horizontal bike lanes, which serves the purpose to transport the residents to this tram. And these horizontal and vertical lines divide the district into super blocks, we call them. And the super blocks have a two-way car roads on the sides, which will serve the transit traffic. And inside the super blocks, there will be reduced traffic, which can create a more safer environment for children, cyclists, and pedestrians. Yeah. Before we zoom into the designed area, we would like to give you a short summary of our design approach. So we conducted a research about the existing buildings. We designed a new traffic infrastructure. We created a layout plan which regulates where the buildings can be built. And with all this information combined, we could plan a new city.
On this slide on the left side, you can see the existing transportation system, which is clearly dominated by cars. A lot of cars park on the streets, and there are a lot of pavemented areas that disturb green surfaces. So in our approach, we try to fix these problems. So on the right side, we designed one-way car roads that have frequent pavement changes in intersections, and also have green surfaces sticking into them, making them more narrow. So this way we can slow down car traffic. We can do these, we could say, unfriendly actions against car users, because we have developed the alternative so much that it won't harm their actual daily life. Also, we have placed underground garages that can support the new residents, and of course left the two-way car roads that can give a way for the residents to leave this district. And on this side, there is the building analysis, where we categorize the buildings into two categories. One is the protected buildings, and the other one is for buildings that need to be demolished. If a building had a great position that fits into our layout plan, hence architectural values, or has a high real estate value, we said that it should remain untouched. But if a building was in a worn out condition or in a random place, then we said that it should be demolished. And by that, if we print this on the layout, you can see that some larger red areas appear, which give place to sort of pilot projects or more complex and bigger buildings.
Okay. On the left, you can see the layout plan, which regulates where the buildings can be built. And in the gray stripes, 60-meter tall buildings can be built, which will result in a density increase in this area. So in the smaller blocks, we wanted to use frame-like structures, and in that very big block in the left side, we implemented a stripe-like layout. And on the right, you can see our design building, which contains residential buildings, the protected buildings, commercial buildings, and the new traffic infrastructure. We had the idea that next to the tram stop, concentration of commercial buildings will emerge, and that will be the center of the 15-minute city in our area. If we zoom in further, you can see how these blocks actually work. So there are multiple paths, large continuous green areas, which contain private and public gardens, commercial buildings with offices, grocery stores, and businesses. Yeah, and
on this page on the left side, we can see the sections of the street, and you can really get a feel of how friendly it becomes, even though we have raised the building height and also the density meanwhile. On the right side, there is a graph that shows how all this could become a reality. First of all, we would need to upgrade the transportation infrastructure. After that, the first demolitions can take place, and the pilot projects can be built. These pilot projects need a little bit of help of the government financially, and also to merge some plots to make them enough space. And after all these have happened, the neighboring plots increase in value, which is good for the residents who stay, and also it will attract investors who can get a great return on their investment, because in our layout plan they will be able to build more apartment into one plot instead of just one in the the existing conditions, and by that we believe that a sort of plot by plot continuous development of the area can happen, and our complete vision can occur. These are some visuals that represent that we wanted to keep the characteristics, the architectural characteristics of this district. So we said that on the borders of each layout, there should be pitched roof buildings if they are residential, and in the inside we gave place for a new and more modern and freely formed architecture.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Questions? Eventually, I can ask. Your model is based on the increasing the value of the land and acceptance of local residents to sell their property. No, what was your?
Yes, that's the main idea, that we created the rules, and we wanted to increase the value of the land, so it can happen spontaneously because of economic incentive.
And what is the, if you know, what is the current, let's say, situation in Budapest in terms of growth, demand on new apartments?
It's very high.
It's very high still, all the time.
Yeah, still it's increasing continuously.
I would like to ask you, whether do you have some feedback from experts or local experts?
Yes, one of our teachers was actually the head architect in Pesterzsébet, so
this district.
In this district, so we had a consultation with her throughout the whole semester. So she gave us the feedback, professional feedback that is reliable.
And during the analysis, did you spoke with the owners and inhabitants of the area? Did you make some? Because I see that your analyses are quite detailed and very well done. So
most of the analysis could be done online, but we obviously had a site visit, and I also spoke to a friend that lives here, so I am around that area. Yes, and we also had an expert in the class who worked for the local public transportation company, and we also had communication with him throughout the semester.
Is it always like that you collaborate with experts in different courses as well on your university, that you have this possibility to actually speak with them? Because for us, it's, we don't really collaborate with the city in most of the projects that we do. So I'm curious about it.
It was actually the first time when it happened like this. So in this urban design studio, it was the first time where we had a team that had really local connections to this sort of task. But it was a great pleasure to work with them.
And another thing I wanted to ask you, because I particularly like your graphic design, I wanted to ask which software do you use for those diagrams? Not those ones, but like diagrams on maps. Those, for example, yeah.
Well, it's ArchiCAD.
Just
ArchiCAD, just. Okay. Nice.
Okay, thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
May I add one thing?
Yeah.
As you can see, we constantly talk about continuous green spaces, and most of these spaces are not as public as you would imagine in a basic scenario. Most of them are inside these frame-like buildings, and the purpose of them is to not put another task on the locals, because the maintenance of the green surfaces takes up a lot of resources from the government, and this way the people that live there can do this job to take care of the fields, and it won't be a plus harm to the locals.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we have one colleague which is online, Péter Szaló.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Oh, so now it's your presentation.
Yeah, great. I will just share the presentation. Can you see the presentation?
Yes.
Great. I will just, sorry, my keyboard is not really working, so I'm trying to. Can you still see it?
Yes.
Great. So, hello, thank you for the opportunity to join you from Stockholm, and also thank you for the award. I will start with the presentation. I worked in a studio Schindlerova last year. The name of, or the assignment was called The Spaces in Between. And basically, we focused mainly on the areas that were connected to railway and railway station in the eastern part of Prague. In the black circle, you can see my area, which is called Rajská zahrada, or the Garden of Eden, if you can say that in English. And I will go to this orthofolio. I would like to show in this that this area right now is like a really wasted space, because there are a lot of areas with panel house estates or family houses areas, and they are not really connected, and they are somehow covered in front of each other. They really don't interact. And there's this Humecká Street that goes through the area, which is a huge barrier together with the railway and also with metro station. Here I have some pictures to show you the atmosphere in the area. The main problem is that there are a lot of waste space, if I can call that. There are a lot of barriers with the streets. The metro goes actually above the ground in tubus, which is sort of hard to cross it. There is like only 1 or 2 crosses along the tubus. So I mainly worked with those barriers. Also to show you, there are a lot of like parking lots and not really urban spaces. Here is the master plan, the proposal. I would like to maybe just, I had like many thoughts and many ideas, but I will focus on like 3 main topics I focused. The first one is to sort of make new urban city boulevard that goes through the area and connects the city center with the outskirts of Prague. I wanted to make a new street there, basically, to have development on both sides of the street. I prolonged the tram line that now goes to the outskirts of Prague. And I also wanted to create sort of something like a local center with a new transportation hub. Like there you can transfer from train. There is a new train station, there is the metro station, there is also the bus station and the tram station. So it's a huge transfer hub together with the education center, a lot of shops, and it's like a new impulse for this area to actually develop into some really like economically efficient area, if I can call it like that. And the third approach was really to focus on the permeability of those spaces, to actually somehow dissolve the barriers, connect the parts together. And here are just a section to somehow get the image of the space. The first section is through the new boulevard. You can see it's really urban. There are like sort of high little houses that somehow interact with the penthouse estate. Then there's the second section, which sort of showed the level differences that are in the area. And actually in the last section, you can see how I worked with those level differences. I also put the metro station underground, which was sort of like a hard thing to decide, but I decided to put the metro underground to have the opportunity to build there. And you can see how through the passage all the areas are accessible. Here is the visualization of the boulevard. You can see on the left side the train station. In this visualization, you can see the new square that is sort of the beginning of the passage that allows you to go through all the sorts of transport. Also, I wanted to use the roofs for like more sort of living urban spaces. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Susanna didn't end to show you the last 2 minutes.
Sorry?
Sorry, no, that you were just in time, no? You were very quick. Very quick. It was good. Thank you. So
I tried to be brief.
Yeah. Questions. What was the involvement of the city district in your consideration?
Actually, I focused on this city district also in another subject in urbanism, where we were sort of using space syntax and other analysis tools to find a new local center here. And I contacted the major of the city district, so we were in a communication sort of, and now they are trying to make a new like strategy for the district for next, I mean, 10 or 15 years. So we talked about it, but they are not really good when it comes to communication. So yeah, I tried.
Okay.
I don't have a question because Peter was part of our design studio, so I know everything about his project, and congratulations. I think that just to add, the project had several localities, and our intention was to study the potential of places where there will be new train stops of commuter trains, because Prague is building up the commuter train system, which should connect Prague with suburban areas, and by that to solve the problems of individual transportation, which is very, very, very difficult in Prague. And those projects were supposed to be kind of experimental understanding and studies of the new centralities and potential of the places which are now empty and not used to its potential. So I think that Peter was very successful in his task, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. If there are no more questions, I'd like to invite the biggest team ever I think we had, and ask you for a short presentation.
Okay, so if we can start, let us introduce our project. We were a group composed of actually architects and landscape architects as a part of our studio project. And it was created under the assignment of finding and redesigning lost open spaces. So, so our site is a lost fragment of wild nature located in the heart of Brno city center. This place captivated us because it was very unique and had a peculiar atmosphere, as you can see in the photo. Most visitors who kind of cross this place observe this jungle from outside. They do not enter. However, if you are brave enough to step in, the wilderness will immerse you in a world that is chaotic and mesmerizing at the same time. So we looked, while we were kind of like discovering the place, we also looked in the history of the place. In the 19th century, there was a brick factory. After the close down of the factory, there was a garden colony created, and afterwards, which is kind of like what is the place like right now, it's a jungle of wild plants with fragments of garden sheds, along with decorative plants and fruit trees. There can be found various communities, such as skate parks, such as skaters from skate park, scouts, and also unhoused people. So it's kind of like a mixture of different layers of history combined into a very special place. So we have done a site analysis by having just simply a conversation with people who were crossing the grass field. And we highlighted the most frequent answers to learn how the place feels like for other people. We chose this place thinking we found the perfect lost site in the city, but after we got to know the place more, it turned out that the place was not so lost as we thought, but we were the ones who were lost in it. So we came to a conclusion that the wilderness and the nature in the city center is valuable and is worth preserving in time and space. We decided to approach the place with partially controlled ecological succession.
So we decided to use sensitive interventions such as replenishment of productive native species that would result in a creation of an ideal jungle, the last wild place in the city as described by the passerby. We perceive this as one of the main values of the site together with its dynamic character. Therefore, instead of radically changing the site and destroying its qualities, we decided to transfer and extend them beyond its boundaries. This would happen through seed bombs or pocket jungles created from the plants of this last wild place. With addition of the movement force in the form of people, this would be a small intervention creating a wave of other interventions that transform urban abandoned lost sites into other wild places. This would also connect the communities, benefit the environment. In other words, it would mean the return of nature to the city, or as one could say, returning the city to the nature. Pocket jungles are capsules consisting of seeds, fertilizers, and soil, originally invented by Japanese philosopher Masanobu Fukuoka.
So pocket jungles are made from clay soil, mixture of the collected seeds and compost, and each of them from our side. And all these elements are mixed together and shaped with the help of water. And after drying, they are meant to be thrown in a chosen place. And the mass of the dried clay is protecting the seeds from external influences until the bowl soaks up with rainwater and the seeds can disintegrate and start growing. Seed mix consists of different types of plants, and their number and varieties can be mixed as desired. Our goal for the site is to maintain its unique atmosphere, and we didn't want to intervene too much and reshape this specific place and wilderness. So this decision led us to implementation of partly controlled ecological succession as a means of preservation. So communities can be indirectly in charge of managing the place by being part of workshops, collecting the seeds, creating new pathways, and discovering the place. And inseparable part of these locations are old garden sheds, and we give an abandoned cellar and previous garden shed new meaning by adding a pergola for drying flowers and these pocket jungles. And inside the cellar can be transformed into a storage space. This whole concept of pocket jungles can help expand biodiversity across the city. because our original lost site from which the seeds for package uncles would be derived is already a settled coexistence between nature and citizens. And not only it has the power to change the visual of the city, but it is also beneficial in ecological and social sphere. And it also adds a deeper meaning to other small lost sites, as it provides further habitat for pollinators and small fauna. So moreover, it brings together different communities by impacting the environment of their city. Thank you.
I was not member of the jury, but I followed the jury discussion, and your project really caused I would say a long discussion, because it is something very unusual. There is no buildings and roads in the final design, but everybody felt that this is something which should be somehow put forward, that this is not to be forgotten, so that we developed this special mention. And I think it was a very good and brave decision of the jury to promote projects like that, which have a very sensitive approach to locations which normally are seen as abandoned. So questions.
I have a question. How did you find this idea of pocket jungle? Because it's something I've never heard of it, and it's super inspiring. And I wonder, what was the path? How did you came up with this?
Well, it was originally invented, as I said, by the Japanese philosopher Masanobu Fukuoka, who used to garden with it. And he was saying you put whatever in he called it seed bombs, I think. And he just was throwing it around, and the plants were growing wherever it was suitable for them. And he had a lot of breakthrough with this type of gardening, even in the places where it was very hard to grow some food for people. And also this concept was later used, I think it was in New York or maybe even some other places. It was kind of a revolution against I don't know what was it, but it was some kind of revolution against the concrete cities.
But the question was how you got familiar with this.
You get to know him by internet or by books?
I just remembered it's
nice.
We're discussing different approaches to the place, because we were really lost when we were trying to find something, and then our colleague came up, this idea about seed bombs, and we had no idea about it, and then we kind of started having conversation about it, and we thought that it was a good approach, or at least a very different approach.
And the idea comes from landscape architect, or
actually
in your
from an architect.
I introduced this story to my mother-in-law in her garden.
Jiří Kugl.
Jiří.
Thank you. Such a gentle project. Thank you for sending it to our competition. We really enjoyed it. As it was said, there was a lot of discussion about your project, but I think all of us jurors really liked it. But I'm just wondering, because it is such a low budget project too, have you maybe thought about actually doing at least part of it, realizing it? Because at least the seed bombs or anything that can be done on a shoestring budget. So have you thought about it, doing it?
So we actually did one prototype when we were doing the project. Our supervisors told us you need to try to do it. We were doing it in the winter semester, so it wouldn't actually bloom before we finished the project. But they were like, you need to try it, and it really is super easy to do it. But we haven't really discussed it. It's definitely worth a try. because it's the community aspect of it as well, that it brings together people. And there are so many young skaters kind of like around the site who are there kind of, it's kind of like a new skate park. So they're spending a lot of time there. So maybe it's worth a try to ask them to make some bucket jungles with us.
Yeah, I think you really should. Like, this is going to be definitely worthwhile. So thank you for your project and for your idea.
So thank you very much. No more questions? No. So thank you very much. Thanks to all of you. Once more, we appreciate that you have decided to send your project to the competition. If you have friends, you can encourage them to do the same. Maybe they will have it. Good luck to also be among the winners. And this is all for today, but not in terms of the seminar, but we prepared a short guided tour through our university with a colleague of us. So if you have still have time, she's waiting here, outside here, and show you how our faculty works, and that you get a little bit familiar with our milieu here. So thank you very much. I also thank to our guests online, and hopefully you will stay with us. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.